How you doing, guys? Another episode of the Black Bass, episode 3. And what I'm going to go through is bank fishing with bait. And this is for trout, catfish, bluegill, crappie, and red ear. And basically, what I got in front of me is everything I use for bank fishing. This is with a chair where you sit down with a cooler and you're not moving around a lot. Basically, here's my backpack that I use for bank fishing. And as you can tell, this is a different backpack than my bass fishing backpack, which is green. And like I said, I like a lot of pockets. So this backpack altogether has 4 pockets. Four of them. And what I'm going to go through next is that you don't need a backpack for bank fishing. You could use a handheld tackle box or a shoulder strap soft shell tackle box because you're not really moving around. So those are options, but I still like to use a backpack. So let me start from left to right of everything that I like to use to take out for a day or a weekend. This is enough stuff for a weekend adventure, a camping adventure, or just a long day out on the water. Freshwater lakes, rivers, and reservoirs. So first things first is I use a Ugly Stick camouflage ball cap. And that's basically just to keep the sun out of my eyes. Just a regular old cap. You could use any hat you want. But I use one of these, and I purchased this at Walmart for $6. The next thing I use, no matter what kind of fishing I'm doing, is a pair of Polaroids sunglasses. These are from Walmart also. They cost about $24, and they're the copper lens color. So it's got a copper lens tone to the color of the glasses. And as you see, I've got a head strap for that, so if they fall or come off your face, it's still around your neck. The next thing I use, and this is for winter or summer, is a fishing buff. And you're not going to believe it. Yes, I got this at Walmart too. So Walmart's got a lot of options at a good price. And this was about $6.99. They had 2 colors, but I wanted to match my camouflaged hat. So I bought as you can see, the camo color. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is gloves. If you want to wear gloves in the fall and winter, I'm going to be doing an episode in about 10 to 7 days of cold weather fishing gear. Now, this is just for bank fishermen. If you want to throw a cheap pair of gloves in your tackle box, you can. These only were about $6.99. And, if I get cold out there or whatever during the fall and winter, I can just use those. The next thing we're going to talk about is a bait towel. Now, this is used when you're cutting bait, preparing bait, and you're done. You want to be able to wet your hands and dry them off with a bait towel. You want to wash this thing, depending on how often you go fishing, 2 to 3 times a month. That's what you really want to do. And I got this one at the Sportsman's Expo show in Sacramento, California. Now the next thing I use, and this is for rainbow trout, largemouth bass, crappie and bluegill, and even sometimes catfish, are bobbers. I keep a Ziploc freezer bag halfway full of different kinds of bobbers. This is by Phil. They're basically a professional made bobber company that I've had high success with. This actually lights up in the water when it hits it. This is a weighted foam bobber, basically, that you attach to the top and bottom, and the weight faces down in the water. And then when I'm going for small bluegill and crappie, I use a tiny weighted bobber. It's pretty tiny if you can see it. And it's got a little weight at the bottom, and once again you clip these on the top and the bottom, and you make sure the weight is facing down. So that is pretty much my bag for bobbers. And I keep that in this little bag, roll it up, get it real small, basically close it, and it's perfect for them. Stand up. Now the next thing I want to talk about is I keep one extra large plano box with all this stuff in my backpack. And this is my extra large plano box. And what I keep in here is a prefla of hooks, weights, bells, leaders, scissors, snips, and power bait Berkeley dough, and power eggs for trout fishing. So that's what's in that plastic box. Next thing I have that I've used a few times when me and my son have went out fishing is a Rapala fish clamp. Now, after you catch a fish and you don't want to handle it with your hands or your thumb or fingers, you just stick this little clamp. It opens up in the fish's mouth and simply clamp down, and you can hold up your trophy and take pictures with it and just, release them. This is what the pros use, so I bought one at Walmart for, I think it was about $8.99, anywhere from $8 to $12. The next thing I love to use when you catch a fish is your fishing scale. And I have an old 1996 fishing scale by Rapala that's still working to this day. Just, a good old scale. This one goes up to 50 pounds, and it'll even hold your catch numbers in there. You could save them. But I recommend this to anyone that is going fishing, so you can weigh your catch and record it. And that's really important. Now the next thing I have here, these are basically fishing rod anchors. These anchor in the ground for freshwater only. And let me stress that this is for freshwater only. It's not long enough for saltwater sand beaches. So for mud, rock, clay, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, these cost about $7.99, and I keep 2 of them in my bag. Now when I'm trout fishing with a Carolina rig sliding sinker, I always use a snap swivel and a small plastic bobber and pull my line between my 2 guides once the weight has sank to the bottom. Once again, you have to wait till the weight is sank to the bottom, reel your line up slow, and then once it's semi-bowed, just pull out about 2 feet to 18 inches and clip this on. And what it does is it holds down low, and when a trout takes your bait, it raises up. So once again, holds down low, you get a bite, raises up. And that's that. Now I do have a bag that I keep of more hooks. This is just basically extra that I didn't put in the plano box. And this stays in one of the pockets on the side of my backpack. Told you I got a 4-packet backpack. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about that's really important in keeping your catch. If you're a fisherman that does catch, cleans, and cooks, where you like to keep fish, I suggest you get a stringer. Mine is a 15-foot nylon braided stringer. It's 15 feet long. I got this from Walmart for only $3.99. Great price. I don't really keep my fish, but if I ever do, I will use this. And one thing that you gotta have when you're a bait fisherman is a bait knife. And once again, any kind of fishing you do, I've suggested that you've got to have a knife. You know, you just got to have one. So this opens up, and it's basically a straight edge folding knife. And I use this for all my bait cutting. And after I'm done cutting bait, I even wipe it down and just put it right in my pocket clipped with this little clip that clips on. And it's just a real simple knife. This one's from Stanley, and it's sharp. You know, it's an American company, and I like it. Now, the last product we're going to talk about is one big bag that once I put this in, my backpack is ready to go. I can fish for any freshwater species. And what I have in here is, I'm not going to take them all out, but what I basically have in here, I'll give you an overview of pretty much what's in here. So for trout fishing, I have mice tails. And that big bag that I had has everything in it for trout fishing. I've got weights in there, hooks, treble hooks from size 10 to size 16, bait holder hooks from size 8 to size 12. I also have the Hatchery Dust Trout powder. It's basically a powder, it's crushed up hatchery pellets that's formed into a powder. And this was $4.99 at Walmart. I've also got 4 jars in that plastic bag of different power dough bait made by Berkeley Power Bait. Different colors and different scents. The next thing I like to use is the Power Egg Baits, and these come in smaller jars. They're a lot smaller, but you basically get a lot of eggs in this little jar, and these are great. And the last thing I use is Penske's Fire Bait. Now, I've only tried this a couple of times, and the water was really murky, and I didn't have a good luck with it, but I know it works, so I'm going to try it a few more times. It's Penske's Fire Bait. I'm going to try it a few more times at a lake when the lake clears up a lot. So I want to thank you for joining me in this video. And all of this stuff, believe it or not, fits in this backpack. And that's why I love backpack fishing. Once again, join us next time with the Black Bass Fisherman, and I'll see you next episode. Thank you for tuning in.